Only fools would walk away, but we're standing here today. Through the storms and history, only fools in SAFC. Sunderland till the day I die, underneath the Wearside sky. Through it all we still believe, only fools in SAFC.
Hello all, how we're getting on? Hope you're alright. So we're back again with the match preview of our up and coming game at the weekend at Burnley, Turf Moor, Saturday at 3 o'clock. Us on the back of that amazing 3-0 win, couldn't have went any better at the weekend. 3 goals in the second half, demolished West Ham, clean sheet, atmosphere was buzzing, could not have wrote the script any better. Burnley on the other hand, tough opening fixture at Tottenham, lost 3-0. But it probably wasn't a 3-0 in all honesty, which I'll touch on in a little bit. But they are managed by Scotty Parker. Now, Scotty Parker has got a fantastic record, great manager, building that reputation in the game, but he hasn't quite done it at Premier League level yet. He was at Fulham between 2019 and 2021, where he got them promoted, but they also got relegated the same season. He left there and joined Bournemouth on the same day he was released by Fulham. Again, got them promoted. But when they got there, if you remember, I think they won the first game, but then they lost that 9-0 at Liverpool. Lost his job after that. So he hasn't really done it at Premier League level. He then went to Club Brugge in December 2022. Was only there for 12 games, then left in March 23. He then got the Burnley job in July 2024. Did an amazing job with them last season. You know the record he had, 51 games, 30 wins, 16 draws, 5 defeats, a win percentage of 58%. That amazing defensive record that they had last season, and it was really something unreal. I've never seen that like it before. So he has kind of got something to prove. Are Burnley going to struggle this season? We know the favourites to come back down along with us. So Burnley finished 24 points above us last season, but they have lost some really, really key players in the summer, like James Trafford, Josh Brownhill, CJ Egan-Riley. All three of them were immense for them last season and helped contribute at both ends of the pitch. Brownhill got 18 goals last season, and Egan-Riley and Trafford, were class at the back. So that's going to be a big difference for them. And Saturday showed that, that defensive record where they only conceded 16 goals was it something last season. That's something that's never been done before. And they never conceded more than 1 goal in a game all season. In the league game, 1 goal all season. That's just quality. But at this level, that doesn't happen. And like you said, they were exposed 3 times at the weekend against Spurs. But they have lost James Trafford. They've lost Egan-Riley on a free transfer to Marseille. The Brownhill one's a bit of a strange one. I think he's left there. He hasn't got a club yet, so I don't know exactly what happened there. Now, I did catch up with Andrew Herewith from Always Claret and the Turfcast podcast last night. If you haven't seen it, the link's on the screen now to watch that. And he was saying that he still thinks that they haven't replaced CJ Egan-Riley yet, but they have signed some good players. They've made 4 of those loan signings that they had last season permanent. So Marcus Edwards is signed for 8.4 million from Sporting, Jadon Anthony 8 million from Bournemouth, Bashir Humphries 10 million from Chelsea, and Zian Fleming 7 million from Millwall. They have added to that also, so they've signed Leslie Ukachukwu from Chelsea for 25 million, Mark Weiss from Karlsruhe. They've signed Quilinci Hartman from Feyenoord, Alex Twanzebe, Loom Shakuna, Kyle Walker from Man City, Jacob Brun-Larsen from Stuttgart, Martin Dubravka on an undisclosed from Newcastle, and they also signed Armando Broja from Chelsea. So they've made quite a bit of signings. They've spent about 70 odd million quid, which is more than what I thought they had actually. I didn't think they'd spent that much. Whether the players they've signed are going to be at the quality needed to stay up, similar to us, we've spent a lot of money. Will them players that we've signed be able to adapt to Premier League, and will they be able to keep them up? Now, Saturday's game, like I said, wasn't a 3-0. For 60 minutes, Burnley were very much in that game, and it was only when Richarlison's stunner, the second goal he scored, kind of killed the game off. But they should have had a penalty in my eyes. I don't know whether you've seen it, but I think Pedro Porro comes across and he plays Jaden Anthony. For me, it's a penalty, but it wasn't. It was a very quick VAR check and wasn't given. But that was a very, very dodgy decision. And they had a couple of good chances to score prior to Tottenham getting that second goal. I think Hannibal had a good chance and Jaden Anthony had a decent chance as well. Now, as you know, I'm part of Finalysis this season as part of the Sunderland starting 11. Now, Andrew was also a fellow finalist. He's part of the Burnley setup, and it was good to kind of look at their reviews and how they feel. And I'm going to be using these in my match previews this season. So you can see on the screen, this is kind of what they look like when they're submitting the match reviews after the games. Everybody submits a one, and you get a good feel of how the opposing fans are seeing things, and it's a true reaction of how the Burnley fans found that game. Now, all out of that, a summary basically was that Burnley fans, they were left frustrated by the opening day defeat, mainly because they made a slow start to that. Then, like I say, Richarlison's goal kind of killed them off. But before that, they were in the game, and a 3-0 kind of flattered Spurs a little bit. So they kind of took a lot of positives out of that game. So they said not to panic. Spurs are going to probably do a lot better this season under Thomas Frank. The positives were there, and the bigger tests are to come, and they'll see our game on Saturday as a much more important game that they have to win. It's a game against us. We're going to be expected to be battling relegation with them as well, so they'll see this is a perfect opportunity to get their first points on the board, and we're going to have to be banging our ear game. Like I said, it's their first home game. They're going to be banging, the place is going to be rocking, and for us it's going to be no easy game by any stretch of the imagination. If you think back to last season when we played them, the two games against them, we were probably the better side in both games. We won the home game. We should have won the second game. We had, Isidore missed 2 penalties in that game. James Trafford was the hero, but we should have beat them. And Andy was saying last night that we gave them their 2 hardest games last season. So that's positive signs. And with the extra quality we've added this summer, I'm hoping that we might have too much for them. But like I say, for us, life couldn't really get any better at the moment. We're back in the big time. That 3-0 last week, like I say, was unreal. We're signing players for fun, signing quality players for fun, spending money like it's gone out of fashion. But like I've just said, we have to go into the game fully switched on, fully focused. If we go into that game, a little cocky and a little, overconfident following last week's performance, then we'll come undone. We're probably getting into this game as favourites, which for me, I don't like. I much prefer when we go into games as underdogs. Now, for all, it was a great result last week. The 3-0 the second half. The first half, as we know, was edgy, it was nervy, and West Ham were the better side. It could have been a completely different game. If Dan Ballard hadn't cleared that ball off the line, it's a different game. We got a 0-0 at half time. We tweaked a few things. We pushed high up the pitch. Ryan Aildor and Trey were getting forward, stopping their wing backs of Wan-Bissaka and the other lad that the new signing, I can't think of his name now, but stopping them pushing forward, and that helped us. We pushed further up the pitch, ended up where we were pushing onto their back line, and that's where the goals came from. So it could have easily been a different story, but we got the job done. Once we scored the first goal, there was only one team going to win that game in my eyes. They kind of felt the bits, and the West Ham fans after the game had a bit of a, I don't want to say a meltdown, but they're not happy, more directed at the owners for what's happened to their club, and I think they're going to struggle this season. Now, I think in these type of games, I always keep on saying the first goal is crucial. I think if Burnley get the first goal at the weekend, their confidence will grow, and you might see a different game. If we get the first goal, the pressure's on them. They've lost the first game. They go a goal down against us. The pressure, will they be able to handle it? Now, there's not many, like I say, there's not many teams come back in the Premier League from a goal from coming behind. It very rare happens. So the first goal is normally always crucial. Now, team selection, I think we'll probably make one change. I think Alderete will probably come in for Jensen Seelt. Now, that's not to say Jensen Seelt played bad last week. I thought he had a really good game. Didn't outrun until he got injured. But you saw the difference in quality when Alderete came on. Straight away when he came on, he was beating players out of his box. Calm head. He got the assist for the first goal. And that just shows you the difference in quality. So I think Alderete will come in for Jensen Seelt, and that'll be the only change. So I think they'll probably have Robin Roofs in goal. We'll have a back four of Trey Hume, Dan Ballard, Omar Alderete, Ronaldo is the back four. We'll have Granit Xhaka in midfield along with Noah Siddiqui, Habib Diarra. On the wings will be James Dean Talby, Seaman Adingra and Eliza Mienda. Full of confidence after getting that goal last week, will continue up front. We will probably see on the bench our new signings of Nordy McQuelly will probably be on the bench as well. Obviously Wilson Isidore will be on there. We might see Masuaku, we don't know, depends how fit he is. Likes of Dan Neil as well will be on there, Chris Rigg. And we've now got that strong bench where we've got players who can come on, like Enzo Lafay as well, who can come on and change a game if need be. And it's so nice to see, to have that depth, that squad depth, and options on the bench to come on if we need them. I do think Burnley might make some changes. I think they might have some of their more attacking players in. I think the likes of Marcus Edwards, Zian Fleming, and I think the new sign Ukachukwu may start as well. So I think they might line up as Dubravka in goal, Kyle Walker, Estev, Extel and Hartman at the back, with Ukachukwu and Cullen in midfield, with Marcus Edwards, Hannibal and Jaden Anthony as the midfield three, with Zian Fleming up front. So it'll be how that midfield battle shapes up of how the game could be won. I think our two wide players might have difficulty at the weekend because Kyle Walker, experienced operator, will Simon Adingra have the know-how to get past him. People saying that Walker's legs have gone. It'll be a test for Adingra at the weekend. And likewise, Talby on the other side. Andrew was saying that Hartman had a good game on Saturday and he's one of their most exciting prospects. So it'll be interesting to see how Talby fares against Hartman at the weekend. So I think it's going to be in that midfield battle where the game will be won or lost. Set pieces could also be crucial as well because we won 9 out of 10 aerial duels at the weekend against West Ham, and that's what got us the goals. So if we can win that battle as well, then that might see us in good stead to get the job done. Now Granit Xhaka hasn't had the best of times at Burnley at Turf Moor. I think Andrew was saying that the last 3 times he's been there, he messed up and created an assist for one of their players for a goal. He then got sent off in 2 games after that. So it's not been a happy hunting ground for Granit Xhaka. But he'll go there and want to get the job done. He's a leader, he's a calm-head, and surely he's learned by them mistakes. On Saturday, he was tremendous. He really was, along with the rest of them. Now, score predictions. I think, like I've said, if we go there and play our game, I do think we might just be a little bit too strong for Burnley. If we have the right attitude, which I'm sure Radice Labrise and Granit Xhaka will make sure we have. They'll not let us get complacent. They'll not let us go there and be sloppy. They'll want to build on that 3-0 win last week. They'll want to follow up and they'll want to put on a good show and make it back-to-back wins for the first time in the Premier League since April 2014, when we beat Chelsea away and Cardiff away. So, 11 years since we've done it in the Premier League. So a score prediction, I'm going to go for Burnley 0, Sunderland 2, for us to do back-to-back wins, maximum points, and stopping them Champions League places. But submit your score predictions below. Remember, you must be a subscriber to take part in the score prediction competition, and only scores submitted in this video will count. So if you've put any in the inside the opposition video that I did yesterday, please transfer them across to this one. Get them in here, and those will count to the competition. Now, 3 people did fantastic last week and predicted a 3-0. So well done to Paul, to Richard Waite and Ray Knight. You 3 get 5 points each, a great start to the competition. There was a further 37 people got the correct result and get 2 points each. I will be updating that sheet every week, but I haven't done it yet, obviously, because it's the first week. But there's 3 people on 5, there's 37 people on 2. Well done to you all. So see if you can get in that leaderboard, see if you can get points on the board, and wish you all luck. But also get your comments in there as well about what you think the team's going to be. Would you keep the same team? Is this a game where Enzo Lafay could come in and maybe be a bit more creative? Who would you leave out? So there's all sorts of permutations. Would you start Alderete? Would you keep Seatle in? Who knows? Be good to get your feedback on what your thoughts are. Now, I just want to end the video on an amazing bit of work from the Premier League. So you might have seen it. So Premier League fan mail, they put together a video for our beloved Jack Shields, who we lost last year. The video was brilliant, put together. Wilson Isidore was involved along with Alan, Jack's mate. and Jackie, his mum. It was an absolutely brilliant watch. Had me in bits yesterday. I was going to actually play the video at the end, but I think that it'll probably get copyrighted, so I'll put the link in the description below for you to watch if you haven't seen it. It's a really emotional watch. I was in bits, like I say, emotional, but it's beautiful at the same time, and fair play to the Premier League for doing that. So please give it a watch. Also, please like, share and subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. We're almost at that 5k sub mark. Absolutely unreal amount of subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you who's pressed that little black button. It really means a lot. I love the feedback, love the interaction. I do try and reply to every comment if I can. We are just 327 subs away from that magic number of 5k. So if you're new or you're a returning watcher and you haven't yet subscribed, hit that little black button underneath. It'll cost you now, it's free, and it'll help us to get to that magic 5k. To the 2,300 people who are travelling down to Burnley at the weekend, have a safe trip there and a safe trip back. Hope you have a fantastic away day out, but please bring back them 3 points with you if you don't mind. It'd be greatly appreciated. I will drop an away day guide in the description below as well, just for anybody, for pubs and parking and what have you. But most of you will have been there already anyway, you know the crack. But anybody new going down there, I'll put that description that link in the description. But watch out for the match review coming out after the game, where hopefully we're in a good mood still and reviewing another 3 points. But in the meantime, have a safe trip. Thanks for watching. Take it easy, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video. However, lads.
Sunderland's where we live and fight with pride.